Everyone, I wanted to do a quick commentary just on character models and how they move vis-a-vis other character models. So this is Sable, and Sable has a great art style, but what I found that I really did not like about Sable was the movement of the character herself, because it's done in this, you can see here, it's done as this choppy kind of method. And at first, like, that's kind of cool, where it's like a pretty artistic thing, but I don't know, for some reason it felt very cheap to me. It felt like my character wasn't really alive. And I found that the way a character moves has a huge impact, not only when you start a game, but also when you're getting into appreciating a game. It's also very unnerving when you see things in the environment moving at a faster FPS than the character you're controlling. It just feels bad. It does not make you feel good. And so while this is like a cool artistic thing to do, in the end, I really did not like this for my character. So let's kind of contrast this with, you know, another kind of character model that is very well animated. So a perfect example is 2B from Nier. I remember when I first picked up Automata, I was shocked at how smooth the character was when she controlled. You can see here, even when she's idle, her dress is flowing in the wind, she's, you know, moving side to side, her posture is shifting, and she feels very real to the player. It feels like you're really in control of, like, a real human being, almost. Another thing you'll see is that what we like to see, what we talk about soul, is when the character in the environment will actually interact with the environment. So for example, if you look up 2B's skirt, of course, she's going to shoo away the camera. There are other things too, like I think one major thing I'm a huge proponent of is being able to pet dogs and cats or interact with the environment in some way. If you can see something, you should be able to do it. And you can see here, she's even just looking off into the distance, she's adjusting her posture, she's looking around the environment, and she moves very fluidly. You can see here she's crossing her arms. There's even like clipping of the dress and the hand pieces through her arms, but that really doesn't matter because it's the movement and the flow of the character that is really, really important. And for example, here we can see even, you know, back to Ocarina of Time, Link would also have great idle animations, but even the way he moves here, you know, his body is shifting from side to side. You even notice there the footsteps, the sound of the footsteps changed when he went onto the stone bridge versus on the ground. Even there, even when he's reading the sign, his head is bobbing a little bit from side to side. And of course, even when he's standing still, Navi will always be moving, it'll be interacting with things in the environment. And what I love, I think, about Ocarina is how much you can interact with just simple things in the environment. You can pick up that grass, you can throw that grass, you can pick up that chicken, you can fly with that chicken, you can jump off any ledge, you can pick up pots, smash pots. Basically, if you can see it, you can basically do it. And I think that's a core gameplay mechanic that's great. Even here in Wind Waker, one of my favorite things about Link in Wind Waker is that usually when he was standing still, he will actually begin to look at the objective or the solution to the puzzle in the room. And that is such a nice touch for a minimalist style, that he will always be interacting with the environment. And you see, even there, like the water is dripping off his tunic like it would in Automata when 2B gets wet. So no matter what, the characters are constantly being affected or affecting their environment. And the more fluid and the more it's not only the weight behind the character and when Link will, you know, smash into a tree or something, but it's also about how he moves and how he responds and how fluid and vivid that is. You feel like you're really controlling that character appropriately. Another very interesting thing about when you start a game is that the character movement can tell you a lot about what the game is going to be like, what the character's ability is going to be like. It's very different if you start Silent Hill versus Devil May Cry, and the amount of movement you can do can tell you about the kind of actions and what kind of pacing the game is. You can see here James is moving very, very slowly because Silent Hill is kind of like a very slow-paced game. It's very methodical, survival horror. While Dante can jump 5 meters no problem, and so it's an action-packed game. From the second you pick up the controller and you start controlling that character, it's going to tell you a lot about where the game is going to go and what its philosophy is. Anyway, my only real big takeaway from this video is that the more smooth and the more attention to detail and amount that the main character, that your player character or your avatar has on or in the world, is hugely important. I think this kind of suffers a lot when you're in things like MMOs, because MMOs are always constantly adapting. You can't really have a lot of interactions with the environment unless it's like with characters. And that's why I think making the world that you're in is making that kind of like with its music and ambience and whatever is really important to nail that, because otherwise it's not as engaging. It is engaging because you're interacting with real people, but if you weren't, it would feel kind of empty in certain places. But anyway, the smoother and more detailed and more reactive you can make the character to the environment, the better. That's pretty much what I realized by making this video. Anyway, that's it. See you later, guys.